Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Narunchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayat Mudirahe Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seviya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text number 54. The chapter is titled The Universal Form. Bhaktya tvananyaya sakya aham evam vido arjuna gyatum drashtum cha tatvena pravastum cha parantapa. Bhaktya tvananyaya sakya aham evam vido arjuna Gyatum drashtum cha tatvena pravestum cha parantapa. Bhaktya ananyaya sakya aham evam vido arjuna. Gyatum drashtum cha tatvena pravestum cha parantapa. Anybody else would like to chant?
Bhakta to ananyaya shakya aham eva vido arjuna gyatum drashtum cha tattena pravestum cha parantapa.
Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham evam vidho arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa.
Thank you.
Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidhorjuna dhyatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa.
Bhaktya, by devotional service. Two, but ananyaya, without being mixed with fruitive activities or speculative knowledge. Shakyaha, possible, aham, I, evam vidha, like this, Arjuna, O Arjuna, gyatum, to know, drashtum, to see, cha, and, tatvena, in fact, pravestum, to enter into, cha, also, param tapa, O subduer of the enemy. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Please repeat. My dear Arjuna,
My dear Arjuna,
only by undivided devotional service
only by
Undivided devotional service
can I be understood as I am,
can I be
understood
as I am,
standing before you,
standing for you,
and can thus be seen directly.
and can thus
be seen directly.
Only in this way
only
in this way
can you enter
can you enter
into the mysteries of my understanding.
into the mysteries of my understanding.
Thank you. Purport. Krishna can be understood only by the process of undivided devotional service. He explicitly explains this in these words so that unauthorized commentators who try to understand Bhagavad Gita by the speculative process will know that they are simply wasting their time. No one can understand Krishna or how he came from parents in a four-handed form and at once change himself into a two-handed form. These things are very difficult to understand by study of the Vedas or by philosophical speculation. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that no one can see him or enter into understanding of this matter. Those who, however, are very experienced students of Vedic literature can learn about him from the Vedic literature in so many ways. There are so many rules and regulations, and if one at all wants to understand Krishna, he must follow the regulatory principles described in the authoritative literature. One can perform penance in accordance with those principles. For example, to undergo serious penances, one may observe fasting on Janmashtami, the day on which Krishna appeared, and on the 2 days of Ekadasi, the 11th day after the new moon and the 11th day after the full moon. As far as charity is concerned, it is plain that charity should be given to the devotees of Krishna. Who are engaged in his devotional service to spread the Krishna philosophy or Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Krishna consciousness is a benediction to humanity. Lord Chaitanya was appreciated by Rupa Goswami as a most munificent man of charity because love of Krishna, which is very difficult to achieve, was distributed freely by him. So if one gives some amount of his money to persons involved in distributing Krishna consciousness, that charity given to spread Krishna consciousness is the greatest charity in the world. And if one worships as prescribed in the temples in India, there's always some statue, usually of Vishnu or Krishna. There is a chance to progress by offering worship and respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the beginners in devotional service to the Lord, temple worship is essential. And this is confirmed in the Vedic literature, Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.23. Yasya deve paraha bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyati katitahi artha prakasante mahatmana. One was unflinching faith, unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord, and is directed by the spiritual master in whom he has a similar unflinching faith, can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. One cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. For one who does not take personal training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. The word "tu" is specifically used here to indicate that no other process can be used, can be recommended, or can be successful in understanding Krishna. I'll repeat this line. The word "tu" is specifically used here to indicate that no other process can be used, can be recommended, or can be successful in understanding Krishna. The personal forms of Krishna, the 200 form and the 400, are described as Shu Durdasham, very difficult to see. They are completely different from the temporary universal form shown to Arjuna. The 400 form of Narayan and the 200 form of Krishna are eternal and transcendental. Whereas the universal form exhibited to Arjuna is temporary. The words Svad Anyena Nadrishtapurvam state that before Arjuna, no one had seen that universal form. Also, they suggest that amongst the devotees, there was no necessity of showing it. That form was exhibited by Krishna at the request of Arjuna, so that in the future, when one represents himself as an incarnation of God, people can ask to see his universal form. The word "na," used repeatedly in the previous verse, indicates that one should not be very much proud of such credentials as an academic education in Vedic literature. One must take to the devotional service of Krishna. Only then can one attempt to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Krishna changes from the universal form to the 400 form Narayan and then to his own natural form of two hands. This indicates that the 400 forms and other forms mentioned in Vedic literature are all emanations of the original 200 Krishna. He is the origin of all emanations. Krishna is distinct even from these forms, what to speak of the impersonal conception. As far as the 400 forms of Krishna are concerned, it is stated clearly that even the most identical 400 form of Krishna, which is known as Mahavishnu, who is lying on the cosmic ocean and from whose breathing so many innumerable universes are passing out and entering, is also an expansion of the Supreme Lord, as stated in the Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 48th verse. Yashaika niswasita kalam atavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnu mahan siha yasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The Mahavishnu into whom all the innumerable universes enter and from whom they come forth again simply by his breathing process is a plenary expansion of Krishna. Therefore, I worship Govinda Krishna, the cause of all causes. Therefore, one should conclusively worship the personal form Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has eternal bliss and knowledge. He is the source of all forms of Vishnu, he is the source of all forms of incarnation, and he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Vedic literature, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, the following statement appears. Sachid Ananda Rupaya Krishna Yak Kristakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Guruve Buddhi Shakshana. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Krishna, who is a transcendental form of bliss, eternality, and knowledge. I offer my respect to him because understanding him means understanding the Vedas. And he is therefore the supreme spiritual master. Hold on for one moment. Then it is said, Krishna vai paramam daivatam. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Eko vasi sarvaga Krishna iddiha. Eko api san bahuda yo avabhati. That one Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and he is worshipable. Although he is one, he is manifested in unlimited forms and expanded incarnations. The Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 1st verse says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nadyadi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, who has a body of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. He has no beginning, for he is the beginning of everything. He is the cause of all causes. In the Vishnu Puran, it is said, Yatra avatirnam Krishnakhyam Param Brahma Narakriti. The Supreme Absolute Truth is a person. His name is Krishna. And he sometimes descends on this earth. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find a description of all kinds of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this list, the name of Krishna also appears. But then it is said that this Krishna is not an incarnation of God, but is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Etatam sakala Sham Krishna tu Bhagwan Swayam. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Matta Parantaram Nanyat. There is nothing superior to my form as the personality of God at Krishna. He also says elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Adihi Devanam, I am the origin of all the demigods. And after understanding Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, Arjuna also confirms this in the following words. Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitam Paramam Bhavan. I now fully understand that you are the Supreme Personality of God as the Absolute Truth and that you are the refuge of everything. Therefore, the universal form which Krishna showed to Arjuna is not the original form of God. The original is the Krishna form. The universal form with its thousands and thousands of heads and hands is manifest just to draw the attention of those who have no love for God. It is not God's original form. The universal form is not attractive for pure devotees who are in love with the Lord in different transcendental relationships. The Supreme Godhead exchanges transcendental love in his original form of Krishna. Therefore, to Arjuna, who was so intimately related with Krishna in friendship, this form of the universal manifestation was not pleasing, rather it was fearful. Arjuna was a constant companion of Krishna, must have had transcendental eyes. He was not an ordinary man, therefore he was not captivated by the universal form. This form may seem wonderful to persons who are involved in elevating themselves by fruitive activities. But to persons who are engaged in devotional service, the 200 form of Krishna is the most dear. Om Agnanatiminandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shigaro Sijita Padakamanam Shigaram Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paryana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhaya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhaktya Tva Ananyaya Sakya Aham Evam Vido Arjuna Gyatum Drashtum Cha Tatvena Praveshtum Cha Parantapaha. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Such a wonderful verse. We see this in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Just a section before this section, where pure devotional service is mentioned, there are prayers of Arjuna, so nicely Arjuna offering prayers to the Supreme Lord after seeing the universal form, and then humbly requesting him to come back into his 400 form and then to his original form. And then, after seeing that original form, this section of verses are there of pure devotional service. That this original form of the Supreme Lord, Satchidananda Rupaya, full of eternity, bliss and knowledge, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Rupaya, right? Is very difficult to understand by our blunt material senses, we elsewhere see. Atasi Krishna Namadina Bhavat Grahim Indriya. By our blunt material senses, we cannot perceive it. Krishna was present in front of Duryodhana and all, they cannot perceive him as the Supreme Lord because they didn't have a iota of bhakti, devotional service to the Supreme Lord. While Arjuna, right, who is very intimate associate, and has also, now as we see, Kalpana Dosa, Prahatasabha, Prichami Tvam Dharma Samudas चेतः यत् श्रेयस्या निश्चितं ब्रूहितं मे शिष्यतेहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. The beginning of second chapter itself, he said, "Oh, I'm confused about my duty. I'm a soul surrendered unto you." Shishyateham. No, he's surrendering as his disciple. So Arjuna is blessed with that transcendental vision by which he can pursue the Lord. When the Lord appears in the form, or the universal form initially at his request, which he had not shown to anybody else before, right? He is showing it to Arjuna. And while Arjuna is seeing, all the other demigods in the higher planetary system are also seeing that particular form of the Lord. But the devotee is not satisfied by the universal form of the Lord because it's temporary. Material is temporary. And then he appears in the four-handed form. And that also Arjuna is not satisfied. He is requesting Krishna to appear in his two-handed form. So both the four-handed form and two-handed form are transcendental. The Lord's four-handed form we see in Srimad Bhagavatam when all the incarnations are mentioned, 27 primary incarnations are mentioned, of which Krishna is also there, but then it's mentioned at the end of that section, Eta Chamsha Kalap Pumsham Krishna tu Bhagwan Swayam. So all these incarnations mentioned are the expansions of the expansion of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. He is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right. So the 400 form of the Supreme Lord is also of the expansions of the original Supreme Lord who is in 200 form, in Krishna's form. Like Sri Prabhupada mentioning the purport about Mahavishnu, from whom thousands and thousands of universes comes out, right, when he exhales. He's in the 400 form. Right. But he's also an expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Right. And we see ultimately, right, all other forms, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam cover page, you'll see all these different forms of the Lord, 400 forms of the Lord. The Lord in the four hands having Sankha, Chakra, Gada, right? And Padma, lotus flower. And it's mentioned the directions in which, or the hands in which those four articles are there is known by different names. Right. So all those 400 forms of the Lord who are known by different names, they are the expansions, incarnation of the Supreme Lord, original of the Lord Krishna. Even Vasudeva Krishna, who comes to Mathura, is considered to have 400 form. And we see, right, when the Lord appears from the womb of Devaki, it's not an ordinary pregnancy. As soon as he appears in the 400 form. Very difficult to perceive. So much so that when Vasudeva and Devaki sees that 400 form, they start start praying to the Lord. Oh, please come in your childhood form. Otherwise, we won't be able to conceal you. Because they were in the mood of Vatsalya, they were thinking that, oh, how will they conceal this huge 400 form from Kansha, who wanted to kill the 8th child of Devaki. So they request him to come back into a childhood 200 form. And the Lord reciprocating in the mood of the Vatsalya, he appears as a child form. In the Yoga Maya kind of phenomenon, removes covers Vasudeva and Devaki, that they even saw that 400 form. Otherwise, they will always be, while they are reciprocating with the child, they will always be thinking that, oh, he's the 400 Narayan. And would not have that Vatsalya relation with the child. Right. So both the 400 form, the 200 form are transcendental. They are pursued by only devotees, not by fruitive activities, who take shelter of the Vedas, not by mental speculators, who, based on the philosophical speculation, use this logic of neti and say, oh, no, this is not Lord, this is not Lord, this is not Lord, and ultimately come to the conclusion that Lord is vast, infinite, and that's why Lord has no form, he is impersonal. That's the conclusion of the Jnanis. Right, so the Karmis cannot know Lord, the Jnanis cannot know Lord. The Ashtanga Yogis, after a very difficult ordeal of the Ashtanga Yoga process, can know the Lord in the Paramatma form, the localized form, the Super Soul, the perfection of Ashtanga Yogi. Right. But a Bhakti Yogi knows it just by performance of his devotional service. Right. That's why it is known, the Lord is known only by devotional service. Premanjana Shurita Bhakti Vilochanena. Only when your eyes are anointed by the law of Godhead, you can understand God. Right. And Srila Prabhupada nicely mentions in the purport that when Krishna can be known only by devotional service, who can write about Krishna? Only a devotee can write about Krishna. Only a devotee can write about Krishna, not unauthorized commentators. Like there are thousands of different Bhagavad Gita by different commentators who have no bhakti, right? But they still want to comment on Bhagavad Gita. And that Bhagavad Gita has ultimately, no use coming from an impersonalist or even an atheist. They have written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Right? So Krishna is understood only by bhakti. Right? And the forms of the Lord are also understood only by bhakti. And the Vedas are there. Vedasya sarvai aham eva vedyo. Right? Vedas are created by the Supreme Lord himself. And through Vedas, the Lord has to be known. Right? The fruitive workers, they use Veda to perform the fruitive activities, but that's not the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas is to know the creator of the Vedas. Right. And then Srila Prabhupada nicely mentions about this. Okay, like we have this special day today, Nirjala Pandav Ekadasi. Right. So the penances has to be performed also for the Supreme Lord by fasting on Janmashtami or fasting on Ekadasi days. The charity should also be performed for distribution of Krishna consciousness. That's the highest form of charity. Right? Charity to someone who is distributing Krishna consciousness. That's the highest form of charity. Right? The penance for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, that's the highest form of penances. Otherwise, people will do fasting on this day, fasting on that day, to get some material boon. Right? But those who are fasting on these special days of Hari, the Supreme Lord, is only for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Not even on the subtle pleasure that, oh, now I'm doing Nirjala or now I'm doing that. No, not even for that subtle pleasure. It is for pleasing the Supreme Lord. If your fasting comes in between your pleasing the Supreme Lord, my recommendation, give up fasting, but please the Supreme Lord. Perform the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. If fasting comes in between that. Right? Because serving the Supreme Lord or pleasing the Supreme Lord is much higher than any fasting, any penances. So the penances is done to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Charity is done to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Right? Okay. Are there any questions? It's beautiful words. Words before the essential words. 1155 verse is the essence of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Right? So it's just before that, and it's such a wonderful verse. Normally we directly go to 1155 or other verses. So thank you that I'm also got an opportunity to read this verse. So it's so nice. Okay, let's open up for some discussion because there is lots of points covered here. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for a wonderful class. My question here is, in the purport it says it's the word undivided devotional service is used.
Yeah.
What does the word undivided mean? Because I just wanted to understand that better. Because I can understand uninterrupted, consistent, unconditional, but undivided, I was a little confused with that.
Yeah, so these are all unconditional devotional service, uninterrupted devotional service, right? Uninterrupted devotional service means it's continuous. Undivided devotional service means it's not I want to perform some devotional service for the Supreme Lord, some devotional service for this, some bhakti for this demigod or this demigod or that demigod. No, not divided, right? It's unalloyed, uninterrupted. So all those verses, undivided, they're all focused on only to the Supreme Lord. That's what it means. Undivided means only to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Not, let me divide that bhakti into sections.
I understood, Prabhuji. Yes, I understood. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
had a few questions about Ekadashi too, but I'll give others a chance first, and then if nobody's asking, I will ask.
Very good. Anybody else? Before we can come back to Sachimata.
So Prabhuji, two things, Ekadashi, I'm always a little concerned about this, is that I am fasting, but my Prabhuji doesn't fast for Ekadashi, you know. So, but I do have to give him chapati or whatever there is, because he will, he eats that.
Yeah.
So what is the reaction for that, for me or him or what? Because, and the kids also, they don't consistently follow, and especially if they're in college or they don't follow at all. So what is going to be the reaction for that?
Well, different.
Because we are giving, I'm fasting, but I'm giving, so I'm being a part of that sin. I feel committing that sin.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I don't know what how it how you would interpret it.
A person has multiple duties, right? Like especially you, Mataji, has multiple duties. Duty as a wife, duty as a mother, duty as a friend member. So just because we are performing devotional service, a hard devotional service, all those duties does not go away, right? All those duties does not go away. So we have to perform those other duties also. That okay, they're not fasting. No, we cook for them and give it to them. At least you are not honoring it because you know the higher purpose, right? But you cannot force others the higher purpose. You can show them the way, but ultimately, each and every living entity has a free will to take to that higher purpose, right? Every individual has a free will. That, oh, should I fast? Should I not fast on Ekadashi, or should I do, even if I'm doing Ekadashi, what level of Ekadashi I do? Or if somebody who does not have any faith in doing Ekadashi, okay? Or somebody even has some allergies from Ekadashi food, fine. If they eat non-Ekadashi food, no, okay, it's a low form, but at the same time, we have to give them a chance to pick up devotional service at their own pace. We cannot force it on them. So if we have to perform our duty to cook, it's okay, Mataji. At least you are offering, just like for the Supreme Lord does not do Ekadasi. So when we offer to the Supreme Lord, he does not have to fast, right? We also offer means non-Ekadasi food to the Supreme Lord and give to them. At least he will take prasad, right? Is that all right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. And the other thing is like regarding buying on Ekadashi, because I bought actually rice today. I went to buy something for Rath Yatra, fruits and all. And I didn't have rice at home, so I picked up. And on the way, I was thinking, is it, like okay to buy on Ekadashi or no?
Yeah,
It
well,
just came to my mind. Yeah.
yeah, there are a lot of those minor rules and regulations, but no, it's like Atyahara Prayascha Nijal Pajalpa Niyam Agraha, right? There are many Niyam Agraha. There are no, in the Nectar of Instruction, it is mentioned nicely. What are all these Niyam Agraha? And they are divided into two: Niyam Agraha and just stuck to the niyam, the rules, and then not doing this, not doing this, not doing this, we will lose the taste of devotional service. So those 6 items ultimately will take us down in our devotional service, right? So there are certain niyam agrahas, like, oh, okay, we cannot buy these, or how can we, just like, we have Govindas and somebody wants samosa, right? Okay, we'll also give them samosa. Now, someone says, oh, how can you give them a samosa on Ekadasi? Giving them a grain, you are incurring sin. But on a higher platform, it's for the proceeds of that goes to the Krishna, right? Just like in the puppet, we heard about that. The proceeds of any charity or any work which you do, which goes for propagating Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of charity, right? So a devotee does not mind that, oh, he will incur sin by distributing grain or buying grain or these. No, it's doing his duty. In process. If he has to get some sins, fine. Ultimately, he is involved in the higher purpose. That's how I will say it, Mataji. And yeah,
Prabhuji, just connected to this, I wanted to share something which Janardhan Prabhu, on Wednesday when I attended the class, he was
Janardhan
saying
Maharaj?
that, yes, Maharaj, Janardhan Maharaj, sorry. So he was saying that how Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj used to make bidis, there was a temple being constructed and the laborers, they were wasting a lot of time on making bidis in between, bidi, right? The
Yeah,
small
yeah.
cigarettes, right? So Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj, just because he did not want this delay in the construction of the temple, he started doing it for them.
Yeah.
So he was trying to explain, just like you said, that you cannot be very strict on, like these, things, because what he was looking at the higher purpose, because he wanted that temple to be built. So he
Yeah.
was asking, did he incur any sin? No, he did not incur any sin by doing that. Because exactly like, you said, like you have to look at the higher
Higher purpose.
purpose. So I could connect. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Haribol.
And in our devotional life, this higher purpose, you should see in our neophyte stage, just like even the temple worship here is mentioned. Even the temple worship is in the neophyte stage. The higher purpose is to serve a Vaishnava. Like, we have these three different kinds of category of Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari stage, devotee just thinks about him and the Lord. He does not think about anything else. But in the Madhyama Adhikari stage, he sees the Lord, he sees the devotees around. And also respects the devotees. Not only the Lord. And the Lord himself says, one who worships me is not my devotee. One who worships my devotee is a devotee. Right? So, we should slowly and slowly think about those higher purposes. And there are so many, like Bhakti Charumaraj was at my home one time and he was mentioning, when we were conversing, kind of mentioned, that how Prabhupada was so practical. Right. That one time in Bombay, there was this, they were invited by a life member at their home for a program. And all the devotees with Prabhupada went to the program. And some of the life members, Mataji had cooked food which was made with onion garlic. And all the devotees started saying, oh, this made with onion garlic, how can we eat? We have taken a vow not to eat onion and garlic. And Prabhupada sensed that, and he kind of mentioned, don't break the faith of that Mataji who has cooked it with such love. It was your responsibility to tell them before that we don't take onion and garlic. But now, since he has cooked it, you eat it. Right? That's the higher elements. You see, it's like the consciousness where the mood of thinking about somebody who has offered it with love. How can I break that person's mood? Right? So,
Same Prabhuji with an incident, as far as I remember, that there was Africa somewhere where the devotees said, there's only meat available there and where scarcity of vegetarian. And then that time also Prabhupada said, like devotional service should not stop or preaching should not stop.
that's true.
Something like that. I remember vaguely something happened.
She quoted Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj itself. That if nothing is available, even if we have to eat some meat to spread Krishna consciousness, do that, but spread Krishna consciousness. If nothing is available.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you and explaining everything so well.
Thank you. Anything else? It's a nice subject matter. It's quite deep because devotional service is quite deep and reflective. Any other discussion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Abhishek.
Dhanavad
Thanks for
Prabhu.
a very nice class. How do we define a devotion service to be pure, Prabhuji? That would be helpful if you can explain that.
Yeah, how do we define devotional service to be pure? When our only purpose is to satisfy Krishna, right? Like we have, what are that words? He thinks only about Krishna. Whatever is favorable to Krishna, you accept it. Whatever is not favorable to Krishna, you reject it. Right. The pure devotional service is like that the devotee thinks only about Krishna. Iha yasya haridasya karmana manasya gira. Even though with his mind, body and words is thinking about Krishna, even though he may be outside doing some material activities, but he's thinking about Krishna. Right. Just thinking about Krishna. Unflinching devotional service. That's another word, like uninterrupted, unflinching, undivided, like in these words. Unflinching devotional service. We are not concerned with anything else but serving Krishna. Then it becomes pure devotional service. Now, let's understand the other angle. When does it become mixed? When it can become mixed when with devotional service you also have, I should also take care of only not devotional service to the Lord, but also why only the Lord? Why only chanting the Lord's name? No, I did my mala, that's fine. Even I have free time, now let me turn on to the TV, let me turn on to something else. Then it is mixed with something else. That is not pure devotional service, it is mixed with something else. It's mixed with, while watching TV, it's mixed with sense gratification, let's face it. While thinking about, let me also give charity for some hospital cause or for this cause or that cause. And the charity is also mixed with karma, fruitive activity. It's a good thing. It's punya. By giving it to some hospital, this or that, you'll also earn some punya karma. But for that also, a person has to take birth again to enjoy the result of that punya karma. It's not a karma, which is just for the Supreme Lord. Right? Mixed with karma. Mixed with jnana means, a person starts thinking about or different, let me, with logic, think of, come to the conclusion of the Supreme Lord. And then he starts, with logic, starts mental speculation, starts thinking about the Lord. Oh, I don't want to accept the form of the Lord when the Lord has come. But with logic, he starts trying to pursue the Lord. And with logic, he does not come to the perception of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, Bahunam Janmanante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadate. Jnani comes to that conclusion that ultimately everything comes from Vasudeva after many, many lifetimes. After many, many lifetimes. it is mixed with jnana. So it is jnana mishra bhakti, karma mishra bhakti. So then it is mixed bhakti. Or just neo-stage bhakti, where we are doing devotional service, but at the same time we are attached to some sense gratification. Right? Today is Ekadasi, fasting. If I offer it to the Lord, who is going to eat it? So I must forget. You must let me put the Lord to rest. I won't offer it to the Lord at all today. But just because you are fasting, the Lord does not have to fast. Then it is mixed with your own convenience. That okay, you have something. You're not thinking completely about the Lord. You get the points, Shankar?
Yes, Prabhuji, very nicely explained actually. Because when you compare that becomes clearer how it is different from Kalam Mixture Bhakti. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance.
Please accept mine.
To the Prabhupada. So Prabhu, we can understand that's the goal. Undivided, unalloyed devotion. And practically also you explained how, where we can see where we stand.
Yeah.
So how do we not lose enthusiasm and hope? Because itne saal karke we've been doing it, but still all this mixture is there. So how do you continue without losing hope?
Yeah, very good question. So all these years we have trying to row the boat of devotional service, but somehow, somewhere or the other, our anchor is tied to the shore and the boat is not going too far in one sense. But how do we continue that? Oh, how come the boat has not gone too far? The only way to increase our bhakti is to do more bhakti. Bhakti breeds more bhakti. Just like offensive chanting. How do we come to pure chanting? By chanting more. By chanting more, we'll come to pure chanting. Similarly, by performing more bhakti, it will attract, the Vairagya will come. The renunciation will come. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Right. Then, by performing more bhakti, slowly and slowly, hopefully one day, our lower taste, ultimately when we get higher taste, lower taste automatically goes away. But still, since we are not completely, continuously taking that higher taste, somewhere on the line, we think about, oh, why every day I have to eat gulab jamun and this and that and that. Let me also eat some of these lari wala who is carrying these different things. Right? So, because of our conditioned nature, which for many, many lifetimes we have conditioned to that kind of living, we are not able to completely take to devotional service. Right? Though different forms, initiated, this, that, so many years of service, but yeah, so all those things are there. But how do we completely come? So those are the ways where by doing more bhakti, by associating with those who are taken to pure devotional service. Right. Initially, we will kind of say, oh, what kind of devotional? They have given up everything. No, I don't want to be a zombie like them or this or that. But no, slowly and slowly, we need to have more attraction to their kind of living to ultimately follow them. And when we serve them nicely, hopefully we'll get mercy from them, so that these knots of material bondage which is within us will be reduced. It's called the weakness of heart, Hridaya Granthi. Because of the weakness of heart, we are attached to different things, family, these, that, and it's there. That's now don't take it in that way that no matter the devotee does not think about the family, but he artificially performs his family duties, but at the same time, he's completely fixed in the higher purpose. Like we see Bhakti Vinod Thakur or other grahasthis. Does that answer your question, Amitabh?
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks.
Yeah. So, summary: doing more bhakti, associating with there are different kinds of association with likely minded devotees, association with juniors, where we give them mercy, show them the way, association with seniors, where we get mercy from them to ultimately advance in our spiritual life.
Prabhu, I had a question on prasadam.
Yes.
Prasadam we understand as mercy of Krishna.
Yeah.
And very commonly prasadam is known as the bhoga offering that we make, and then the remnants that we eat. So it's associated with food.
Yeah.
And now when it comes to food, Prabhu, we have prasadam, mahaprasadam, and mahaprasadam.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand maha is when a devotee partakes and then you have the devotee's remnants. So that his guna and his consciousness, because food is the medium through which consciousness transfers.
Yeah.
So what is mahaprasad and prasad then?
Okay. Mahaprasad is that which comes directly from the Lord's plate, is Mahaprasad. Right? Initially, whatever is cooked for the Lord, right, and then we make a plate of the Lord. That which is made as a plate of the Lord, which is in the plate of the Lord, that is Mahaprasad. So when it comes out after the Lord has honored it, is Mahaprasad. When it is mixed with the bulk of the offering, that foodstuff becomes prasad. And Mahaprasad is when it is honored by a senior devotee, and by taking their permission, we take something from the plate after they have honored it.
So does the mahaprasad, when it is mixed with the full cooking which was done,
Yeah.
potency is the potency, right? It is spiritual.
Yeah.
Does it reduce or?
No, it does not reduce, but it also magnifies. It makes everything prasad then. It does not reduce. But no, it's like, say, there's a whole pot for 200 people you are cooked, and one bowl which is offered to the Lord, right? And then it is mixed with this 200 people offering, right? And then some portion is even kept aside as just plain Mahaprasad, that which has come from the Lord. Just like in the temple, at times we have just directly come, right? Mahaprasad. But then that which is mixed, now what proportion it is mixed and all, we don't know. So sounds somewhere, but everything becomes prasad at that particular time. Now the Mahaprasad has the potency to make everything also Mahaprasad. Whether it is for 200 people or 500 people, once it is mixed inside, even a grain can diffuse the mercy through everything.
Oh.
But that's where this final difference is there about Mahaprasad and Prasad. Otherwise,
So eating the 200 preparation which we serve is same as Mahaprasad only.
yeah, but
If
no, but the possibility is that the 200 person preparation may not also be just like, in our temple. We have that which is cooked in the deity kitchen, which comes out as Mahaprasad. That which is cooked in devotee kitchen, which is offered to a localized pitcher. It's not offered on the main altar. It's offered to the localized pitcher. So it becomes some form of Mahaprasad or something, but it does not have the same potency as that which is offered on the main altar. Right.
so, Prabhu, then how will we understand that, Krishna is absolute? His name, his form, his paraphernalia dress is no different than him.
Yeah.
So, deity on the altar, Radha Shamsundarji, Radha Shamsundarji photo in the community
Yeah.
kitchen, which we offer to. What's the difference then?
In one sense, there is no difference. You're right. In one sense, there's no difference. In other sense, at the same time, the mood and all the kind of things in which it is offered, it's not the same level as what it is offered by mantra on the altar by Brahmana. Now, it's possible that even that which is offered on the altar by Brahmana is not offered with the right consciousness, and it's just whatever his thoughts are. And that the person who has made it outside, he may be offering it with much deeper consciousness. Okay, so just like at our home, we offer it to the base of what we can do or something. Right, but so it's all it's a level of consciousness in which it is offered.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna.
Any other discussion, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all goes.
Hey, Prabhu.
Yeah. Just to add one thing that the previous question, actually, how to generate the bhakti. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Path, he was written the Bhakta Pada Duli or Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Eitin Prema Mahabal. So to serve the Bhakta, to serve the devotees, Bhakta Pada Duli, the dastaka of the bhaktas, and Bhakta Pada Jal, washed the water, and Bhakta Bhukti, that is again after remnant of the bhaktas, that is these 18 Prema Mahabal. These are the emphasis that these very, very three things, very, very big strength of the Prem. That is
our attraction for the Lord. Yeah.
what the Lord.
Very good. Yeah. Thank you. That's okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. So serving the Vaishnavas, much higher than serving. 18 Bhaktapada Puja, so means the dust. The dust, the water which is washed the feet, and the remnants. These three increases our attraction for the Supreme Lord. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all.
Mm.
So, today is a very special day. Yeah. Ekadashi day. Yes. And tomorrow is Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra, New York City. The New York City Rath Yatra, in one sense, is very it's the biggest Rath Yatra, in one sense, in Northeast, and very essential, very important, because Sri Prabhupada had started the New York City Rath Yatra. The New York City Rath Yatra was started during Sri Prabhupada's time. And that's why our devotees in New York and worldwide, they come. If not for all Rath Yatras, they at least come for New York Rath Yatra. They try to come. So we'll get an opportunity to see many, many senior devotees. So take this opportunity when you all go for New York Rath Yatra tomorrow. To not just to, Lord Jagannath, Lord Baldev, Lord Subhadra, but also see these wonderful devotees who are completely absorbed in serving the Supreme Lord. And they are traveling just to come here to give us the mercy. So take that opportunity to serve them as much as you can, to make our progress in our life more successful. Yeah. We can give up the barriers, so whether these are our spiritual master or not our spiritual master. Serve whoever you meet, serve them. Yeah. And definitely make all your efforts to come there. If you're staying far like that, okay, let's see the pictures. If it's somewhere live, see it live. Or start planning, how can I do Rath Yatra in my local area? Bring Lord Jagannath. That's why the Rath Yatra is so important, because we are pulling the rope of the Lord, and that rope is our own love by which we pull the Lord to establish the Lord within our heart. That's why it's called Vrindavan is my heart. The gopis are pulling the Lord from the chariot which has gone to Kurukshetra, right, to or Dwarka in Jagannath Puri, Aishwarya Lila, to the Madhurya Lila, to Vrindavan, right, where the Lord's two-handed form is there, and is just by playing flute is mesmerizing all the devotees in the three worlds, right. In Dwarka Lila and Aishwarya, He may be offered 56 items every day. His hands are never dried. The higher form is that unalloyed devotional service, Madhurya, Lila, and the Vraj mode, the devotees. The Lord takes this opportunity to be pulled, right, to Vrindavan. In Jagannath Puri is pulled from the Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple, which represents Vrindavan. So we take the opportunity to pull the chariot, we take the opportunity to invite others to at least get the mercy to hold the rope. And that's why Lord Jagannath, amidst all inconveniences, he comes out. Hey, I just don't want to be confined in the temple. I want to come out, give my darshan. And Fifth Avenue in that way is so special that comes on both sides. We don't have to promote too much, right? Visitors will be there anyway. They'll say, oh, what's happening here? And they'll just join or they'll get the darshan of the Lord. And then Washington Square Park, every year we see so many people just come, oh, they'll take prasad, they'll hear the kirtan. And this year, when the kirtan is happening, even today, evening, there's kirtan at Times Square happening at night. Yeah. So be absorbed as much as you can tomorrow.
I was introduced to my Guru Maharaj by you in this Ratha Jatra first in 1996.
Yeah, this Rath Yatra is very special. I got connected, attracted to my spiritual master also to this Rath Yatra. Where he would always give such precise question answers. And the question answer both in New York Rath Yatra. And whatever questions I had, all the doubts were cleared, and the attraction came. Yeah. So it's a meeting, it's a place where many got introduced, lost connection. Yeah. And many senior devotees are around. We hear Radhanath Maharaj has come, and Mahavishnu Maharaj, and Sachinandan Maharaj, and others will also come. My Guru Maharaj is there, Kadam Guru Maharaj is there, and we see this just when I think about that, Amazon was mentioning the road. Yeah, because many times I feel, especially for me, that always some form of material desires in form of is holding my boat to the shore. Right. Well, you see these advanced devotees, they don't care anything about their health. God brother is going out doing kirtan. In the afternoon he went out for kirtan, in the evening he's going to go out for kirtan. And stage 4, cancer. I don't want to be confined. If I have to leave, fine, no problem. That's been down consciousness. So it's feel that hey, devotional service is so potent. And we see the souls around us who may not be around us in coming years, may not be around us. Yeah. Yeah. So take this opportunity to serve them as much as you can. Tomorrow.
Is any Mahatma coming in our Atlantic City Ratha Jatra?
Yeah, somebody called Dattatreya Prabhu is coming.
I was just going to say that.
From Oklahoma. Yeah, and I saw some posts which Krishna Prabhu posted where Srila Prabhupada mentioned about Atlantic City. So just that senior devotees, though they may or may not have been present, but them mentioning about Atlantic City, Rath Yatra, which should be done in Atlantic City also. Yes. And we are following in the footsteps of that. You know, facilitating something which pure devotees have spoken. What more do we need? Yeah. So Atlantic City is not as big as New York, that all these Mahatmas will be there. But now, recharge your batteries tomorrow so that with that recharged batteries, you can just pass what you got on July 2nd to other people. Yeah. Each and every one has to spread the names of the Lord or what we received without any alteration in between. Yeah. So I beg at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas here. Please bestow some mercy on me that I can serve to my fullest capacity of all these Vaishnavas coming tomorrow and the proper consciousness and not be too attracted by, oh, that stall is serving ice cream, that stall is serving samosa, that stall is serving that. This stall is where all these Mahatmas are there. How can I serve them? Don't be attracted to the things. Yeah? Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, I remember.
Yeah, go
Prabhuji, I
ahead.
remember last year also, every year, they are sitting, the Mahatmas, just like you said, Maharaj, they are sitting. And last time I remember you were also there in the class. I was there also when they're answering so many questions patiently, sitting there and discussing. That's so beautiful. Like that experience is so beautiful.
Yeah.
There is always, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
They're
Right.
sitting and they are, like surrounded by, like so many devotees or new people, and they're asking questions and they're like answering. Even if but it is such a pleasure to hear from their mouth,
Yeah.
there are a couple of them sitting together. It just feels like so divine.
Yeah.
It's so gratifying.
And many of them I have known, I've seen them, that there's so much personal sacrifice they do while going in that question answer booth. Many of them will not even think about prasadam. Oh, no, if I take too much prasadam, I won't be able to be there for question answer session.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, let's get into that mood of, if we need to eat something more today, eat that, but tomorrow let's focus more on serving. Service to the senior devotees is much higher than even Nirjala Ekadasi, which can stop. Oh no, now I'm weak, I cannot do. No, if you are weak, eat, but some more.
Prabhuji, how, like, yes, like acknowledging their presence and giving them obeisances and like sitting there in the question answer section, being there, but how else, like, especially for tomorrow, I'm asking, how else can we serve them?
Yeah, we have some way, can make something for them, or from there make sure that you serve them. Okay, you got some prasad, Maharaj, did you get prasad? How can we serve prasad? Or how can we give prasad to those who are serving prasad? Right. I remember last year, my entire festival was there's Guru Maharaj and then 4 or 5 Prabhupada disciples whom he was with, and we were just serving prasad. And then there was this stall of prasad serving. Their entire stall was all the procedure, all the preparations which they had made to sell, they were just using it to serve the devotees. They were also so nicely taking that advanced nature, that they were not bogged down. Oh, we came here to sell. Now it's all going to serve these devotees. But serving the devotees is much higher than even those cells. Right? Don't think about this at that time. Cells, okay, no much later on we'll pitch in. Right? And then just be absorbed in serving. And I was serving my Guru Maharaj, and this Prabhupada disciple, that Prabhupada disciple, that Prabhupada disciple. I was just Belpuri and Pani Puri and this and that, just serving them. And they were conversing about Krishna consciousness. We get an opportunity, like when somebody contacted me today, I want to prepare some food items for Maharaj's lunch tomorrow and Rath Yatra. I said, okay, want to prepare, you prepare, but make sure you always factor 4 or 5 people more, where there are other devotees. He's not going to be alone. And we serve all of them. Yeah, we serve all of them. So that's one way of serving, or even by our ears, wherever they are hearing from them, or hearing kirtan which they are leading. That's also serving. I already mentioned hearing the question answers which they are answering. Yeah, that's the way. Service.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Mataji.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. They're quite senior devotees. So, times I'm kind of feeling that once. I have not done enough times. So I remember I've been given the mercy, and I said, no. So I would be kind of confused of what to do. What do I do in that situation? And we get bogged down with this differentiation or that differentiation. But no, it's the Vaishnavas, let's serve them. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanwad Pranam. All Guru Prabhupada.
So
Very
far.
nice class, Madhupati Prabhuji.
Thank you. Jagdishwar Sima Prabhu, sorry I cannot make it the other day to your home
Oh, that.
to get the mercy of Janardhan Maharaj. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm remembering Prabhuji just to sharing that in Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu house, when Jayadutta Maharaj and Kadamakhanand Maharaj was there. So impressive, like though he was having that situation, and I asked the questions, he told I'm well prepared. Parikshit Maharaj have 5 days, I have more than that. So I have no complaint and I am happy to go to my real home and I want to close my all the material activities.
Yeah.
Though he is not doing any material activities, but see humble mood, he was saying that I am now done here. I want to serve now fully spiritual, go back to my home.
Yeah.
So that's the mood of Vaishnava, giving the strength and energy and the realization. And one example Janardhan Maharaj gave here, like saying that one of the Mataji devotee, he was doing her sadhana perfectly, but the husband was not in Krishna consciousness. So Maharaj heard that he was eating meat also. So Mataji asked her Guru Maharaj, that the situation, what should I do? Should I stop serving or then her Guru said, no, this is your husband. You should serve him. You should cook for him. So she was even making the non-veg for her husband. So saying that this is the high standard, though Vaishnava, and she was so like in fixed her sadhana, but to doing her duty. The duty is more important, higher also. She is doing her duty also with the bhakti for high purpose. Maybe the today or maybe the later on, he will come into the Krishna consciousness by on her behavior.
Yeah, very good. Very nice. Yeah. And we have examples like that now. Mirabai or these or that. There are so many other examples even in our surroundings where Prabhupada's sister, Pishima, her husband, would drink this, that, and how much Prabhupada encouraged, tolerate. So it was like perform your duties, but be fixed in devotional service. It's easy to perform devotional service when all these obstacles are not there. But when the obstacles are there, that's when the real test comes.
The more obstacles come, the Rasha Sukha will come out, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Thank you all. Jai. Thank you. Panchakalpatarubhascha. Hindu.
Patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavinda ki
Jai.
jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shimeshwar Prabhu.
Ki jai.
Yeah, ki jai also. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Wonderful discussion. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Really
Krishna.
got really in the mood. Beautiful discussion on such an auspicious day, and then really in the mood for going to the Rath Yatra tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dhanwad Pranam to all.
And what for now? Hare Krishna. Hare Hare.
Krishna.